Spirit of Kuumba. Kuumba. Creativity, a seed in the soil of our souls, planted deep, watered by struggle, and nourished by resilience. From the rhythmic pulse of the drum to the vibrant strokes of a brush, our creativity has shaped worlds. Do you hear it? The echoes of our ancestors weaving melodies from chains and hymns. They turn sorrow into sound, sorrow into survival, birthing the blues, jazz, gospel, hip-hop, genres that now beat in the heart of the globe. And what of the canvas? When the world gave us shadows, we painted ourselves in bold, unapologetic colors. From the quilts of G's Ben to the murals of Ernie Barnes, art that speaks when words fail. In literature, our pens tore through stereotypes and stitched together truth. Zora, Baldwin, Morrison, each word a rebellion, each story a testament. Fashion? Oh, we stitched our identity into every thread. From zoot suits to streetwear, we set trends, not just garments. Black is beautiful, bold, and boundless. And on stages and screens, we performed our truth. Sydney, Cicely, Denzel, Viola. They didn't just act, they transformed, challenging the gaze that dared to look away. Kuumba isn't just what we create, it's how we innovate. We turn scarcity into abundance, made soul food from scraps, jazz from juke joints, and community from chaos. Our creativity isn't confined to the arts, it's in the sciences, the activism, the hustle. Madam C.J. Walker, George Washington Carver, Katherine Johnson, innovators who saw possibility where others saw limits. And let us not forget the giants from Ohio, whose creativity has rippled across the globe. From Paul Lawrence Dunbar to Granville T. Woods, who influenced the way we connect and communicate. Toni Morrison, a literary legend whose words painted the depth of the Black experience. And Nikki Giovanni, whose words inspired movements across generations, spent some of her formative journey in Lincoln Heights, where the founder of the Ohio Black Expo, Rhonda D. Robinson, was born and raised. The strength of community cannot be understated. From the music of Bootsy Collins, whose funk redefined genres and bridged the gaps from James Brown and Parliament to Zap and hip-hop, to the activism of Angela Davis, Ohio has nurtured brilliance. Their legacies remind us that creativity knows no bounds. Kuumba is legacy, the mark we leave. A reminder that Black creativity isn't just an influence, it's a force, a revolution, a gift to America and the world. So tonight, we honor Kuumba. We celebrate the divine spark within us, the creativity that makes us limitless. May we continue to create, to inspire, to transform.
heritage and traditions of our culture. This is traditional West African dance, music, and culture. And we have been doing it for a number of years. And we pay homage to my beloved husband and our co-founder, Brother Abdul Kunta.
Ashe!
Yes. And this all comes from him. So we're going to go on to our next piece. We want to open up with that. We're going to do this collaboration between the juniors and seniors. And then we have one more dance for you. And then we're going to let you come up and dance with us. Okay? All right, so here we go with Ingredients coming out of Mali. It's a traditional dance of transition from one stage to the next in the life here. Our young people will come out while our adults breathe and get oxygen. Yes, and come back and give you more and more energy. Are we ready, ladies? Let's go.
Did they change? That was quick.
welcome all populations coming in and out of the classes in our dog company and our performing classes. So our young ones here are ages 8 through 16, and then our dog company goes up to the seasoned one.
Season. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
The season, right? With wisdom. Okay, it says she's fine. I'm sorry. She's fine. I'm not 85. Okay. And we have some parents and some former members of Thiossane here. So if you're here, raise your hands. We'll get acknowledge you. Thank you for your support. We have a table in the back there where you can sign up for our classes coming in January. Starting January 27th, we have classes for adults and children. You can get information by there by doing your mailing list with us. We will also be teaching. I'll be teaching at Ohio State University this year and doing that program over there. And then also the music director, Kevin, and I will be going to Memphis, Tennessee to be a part of the Memphis Symphony Orchestra with traditional drums. So we're doing that work and adding the flavor there. Here's our last presentation. We're coming out of Jody, out of Casimas, which is a southern synagogue, and also with the pom-pom. So here we go on the cathedral drums. Let's give a hand for our musicians. And our lady drumette. Today is okay.
So they're going to get ready early.
You're doing too much.
our Kemetic principle, our history from way back when. For how far back?
Way back.
Right. So we have the history in which this is based on. We have two of the figures here, which is a saw and a set, and one figure is missing because that's in our spirit right now, and we're representing that from right here, which would be the child that come forward, which is by the name of what? Heru. So we were looking at it that way. One of the things that we have to take a look at is that the kawaii, which Kwanzaa comes out of, has two basic principles that it must take a look at. It says tradition and reason. This is our tradition here. This came first. This is the foundation of everything we take a look at. This is the tradition of what we understand to be the foundation of what we do. From that tradition, 1965, the Kawaii was done with the US organization in California. From that document, 1966, comes out of it Kwanzaa, which was just a little pamphlet, but it talked about African culture. It talked about we had a culture, and it named something that was important, and that importance was land. If I'm Chinese, I'm from where?
China.
If I'm Japanese, I'm from where?
Japanese.
If I'm British, where am I from?
British.
If I'm Irish, where am I from?
Ireland.
But Negro had no land. Colored had no land. None of them had land, according to this culture. So as we moved into 1966 and Kwanzaa, based on all of the cultures in Africa, that's where it was taken from all over. The foundation was to take a look at the land first. And when they took a look at the land, they said, yes, this is where we're from. So we start calling ourselves African. And to represent the land, we then put down what was called mkeka, or the straw mat. And the reason why it's straw is because all of the artifacts here in Kwanzaa have a life cycle. That means they come and go. That means they breathe, and then they go, and then they come back. They have that life cycle. So the mkeka is the straw mat. It represents the land mass. It represents the foundation of the culture and the land, the culture of Africa. And therefore, everything that is done is set on or touching this land mass or touching this. So we took a look at that. Then the next piece that we added or came out was the Kanara. The Kanara itself has at least two principles, because it represents the male and the female energy, not male and female people, but also it does that too. And the Kanara also has a front and a back. And you determine that when you get your Kanara and how you get your Kanara. In this particular one, we have the Sankofa bird on it, who is looking at the egg and protecting the egg. And the egg presents the future. Now, as I'm standing behind the Kanara, if I'm standing here as a person, because remember, the Kanara represents the people, okay? The two people, the original people of what land?
Africa.
Of what land?
Africa.
Okay, there we go. Now we're working with it. And it has a right and a left. But if you're in front of the Kanara, your right is where? On that side. And your left is where? So you must know where you are, which is one of our principles, Nia, to know where you are. So the Kanara then is placed on the mkeka, or the straw mat. It's called a candle holder. It must be in wood. That's what our family is saying. If it's not in wood, it means it's representing something else, which is okay, but that's not what we're doing. We're doing it in wood. Now, in order for the family, the founding family, to exist on the land, they must have, the simple word would be rules. But another word would be principles. Because as you go, higher and higher, you get different. The first principle that must have been understood would have been that the male and the female must be what? United. They must be one. So when you say 1 + 1 = 1, and that's because they are united. And that is represented with the male principle and the female principle, or the male energy or the female energy represented together in Umoja. And we call that Umoja. And that sets in the center. And the way we do it then, everything comes out of that. There's other ways of doing it where things come on the outside and come to it. What we're saying is once mom and papa there, everybody's good to go. So then the next principle comes from the red side, because we have to fight with our what we call our earthly instincts and our spiritual instincts to get things done. And that would be the one on the right, my right, your left, Kujichagulia, which would be self-determination. You can't have self-determination if you don't know who you are, and where you're going. So that, and you're African, you're going from the African principle, you're looking at the world from an African point of view, that's what we're saying. So that would go to the right. Next, it's not just you, it's others that you work with. And that is, when you work with others, you and others, y'all have to pull things together from a collective work and responsibility mode. So that would be, what's the name? Ujima. And that would be over here on the left. Next, we go back to the right again, because we're coming out of it. Now, this one is, what is it? Ujawa?
Ujama.
Ujima, right? And what is Ujima?
Collective work and responsibility.
Oh, that's what I did here. That's collective work. Now, why is collective work and responsibility red? You would ask ourselves, because all we deal with is green money. Well, remember, the most important money thing is the interaction between people. That is the most capital that we really observe. That bloodline where we help each other obtain something. You come over and help me build a house. You come over and help me fix the car. That is where we're really at with this bloodline thing, with that. So we take a look at that on the red side. And that is what?
Ujamaa.
Right, Ujamaa. And next, we would have one that we really ought to take a look at all the time. And that is Nia, which is purpose. So before you set out, you have to have
Purpose.
And you have to know your target. Where are you going? Brother over here talked about I think it was a week ago, he talked about the being able to focus. And inside your brain, there's this mechanism that helps you focus and keep you focused. And if that's not, well, you got to focus. You got to know what the target is.
Word.
You got to know where you're going. You got to know what Ujima, what the purpose. What is the purpose for us being? We got to know that. And we place that in too. And then the next was one that's most understood, because we do a lot of singing and we do a lot of dancing and we do a lot of, hey, I don't know what time it is for this. We do a lot of improvising and we do a lot of, hey, boss, you over there? We do a lot of joking and, hey, how many does it take to screw a light bulb? We do all this joking. We think that's creativity. That's not creativity. This creativity is us getting through that voyage, us getting through all the things that we got through, and we still wind up together as one. Now, we have trouble in the family, but that's okay, because the family knows what the family's supposed to do. So this one here, this one right here, this one, creativity, Kuumba, that's the one. That's the one with pencil and paper. Some of us can do the math in our heads. Some of us have to have pencil and paper. Some have to have computers. Some have to. But the most important thing is, do we have each other? Can we talk to each other about the creativity? And that goes here. The next one would be
Imani.
Completing the 7. And I'm sorry to take so long on this, but this is the one that is misunderstood the most, in my personal opinion, because they named it Imani. Of course, the dance company I do is called Imani. But faith, what is faith? Okay, in our culture, we had life. Our faith was based on observation, knowledge. And so if every Tuesday you show up at 6 o'clock and you supposed to show up at 6 o'clock, my faith is based on the fact on Tuesday you're going to do what?
Show up on 6 o'clock.
Now, there we go. Now, if every Tuesday you late, my faith is based on what?
Every Tuesday you gonna be late.
Okay. So we have to have our faith, right, based on what we do. It's not what we say. It's what we
do.
Come on, y'all, work with me here. It's not what we say. It's what we
do.
Right. And my actions will tell you where my faith is according to the culture. My actions will do that. Can I get up? All right? Okay.
His brother says, give thanks.
Say right. That's right. And as Ajani would say, that's right. So, right. And Brother Nomo too.
That's right.
We always knew that certain people, we knew that they were going to do what they said they were going to do.
That's right.
That's right. Now, Mama Lona would say she going to open. Does she open? So my faith is that Mama Lona says she's going to do something, what's going to happen?
And she gonna do something.
Okay. Now, some of us, if we say we're going to do it, we know we have an intent to do it, but we have to work with us, right? So we're working on it, okay? Now, the other thing is, how do we celebrate this? We celebrate this, and these only three we're going to do, is with this thing that's called the Kikombe Cha Umoja. Now, when we were learning all of this stuff here, we like, what are these people talking about? Well, basically, it's the Unity Cup. There was a time. There was a time.
That's right.
There was a time. On 3, 1, 2, 3.
There was a time.
And that time is still here.
And that time is still here.
When we drank out of the same cup. Yes, we did. We was in the circle drinking out the cup, and folks was like going like, I don't know if I want to do that or not. But we did. Then we went to little individual plastic cups where we were pouring that stuff in, and everybody was supposed to hold their cup, but the children were already drinking. You know, like, wait a minute, we had to go back again. But we have to take a look at the symbolism of a ritual.
Right.
And the symbolism of the ritual is the unity that we must do something. The ritual is doing something. So the something is, in this family, is to find out how can we all drink from the same cup. Now, I know some of y'all out there saying, give everybody a cup. And we all drink at the same time. That's not what we're talking about. And then some of y'all in there saying, oh, I know what. Let's have a cup and then give each person a straw. But wait a minute. I'll go. I'll go.
Amen.
Would that be creativity?
That's creativity.
All right. And remember, we're talking about tradition and reason. Because the tradition back in the days of Kemet, back then was one thing, and now we done moved up to the 20th century here, or the 21st century, and we're talking about how do we reason what they did now, then what we do now, since somebody dammed up the Nile. The Nile doesn't flow like it used to. The stars are not in the same position they used to be. So how do we make that adjustment in the reasoning? So how do we think about this? Well, come over now. How do we drink from the unity cup as one, the same cup? One of the things would be is that who are we? And we know who we are. So therefore, do I have to literally drink a liquid from this?
No.
Do I have to literally drink a liquid from this? No. Can I know that the liquid is in here, which is our faith in each other, our understanding of each other? So I can drink and then pass it. And she drinks and then passes it. And then he drinks and then passes it. I'm going to let y'all sit down and do this. She drinks and then passes it. And he stands and then drinks and passes it. And then he drinks and then passes it. And then comes the brother Lugala, and he's already thinking whether he's going to drink or not. And he drinks and then passes it. And then drinks and that's Mama loaded it, then passes it. And then drinks and then passes it. Notice that Brother Kwame used both hands. So, let me let you, go ahead. Oh, I think.
At my church, they use a spoon.
Boy, I tell you. I'll go.
Amen.
According to the tradition, we all drank from the same cup. According to the reasoning, we knew we have to drink from the same cup. Did we accomplish that this morning?
Yes, sir.
But now we have to use one of their words. And when I say their words, I'm talking about the British language, not the English language, the British language. Do we believe what we just said?
Yes.
Do we understand what we just said?
Yes.
So if that's the case, then we can take the cup down and place it there.
Does the cup have to be wood too?
Somebody asked a question?
Does the cup have to be wood?
Oh, excellent question. Yeah. As we move through this, there's different cups depending on which group you're with. Like in rites of passage, the cup was wood at the beginning, but as you moved up the scale of elders, you get to a different cup. The elders normally there would have a crystal glass, which represents that they have, and then, so we get what? Creativity again. We try to expand on it. And then what is the original cup? Your two hands together. And you drink from that. So if we all are really drinking, we can all go like this and then drink. So that's an excellent question. Yes.
But Tony,
Yes, ma'am.
you've always said no plastic.
Well, what this family does is no plastic. Now, if we're someplace where there's no cup, then we use our hand. But what must you do with your hands before you put the water in? Yeah, you have to cleanse them. You have to cleanse. In fact, you should have been cleansed before you even did this. No plastic, this family. Now, if you're somewhere else in somebody else's house, you're in their house, and they hand you a plastic cup, you got a choice. You can say, I'm not going to do it, or you can respect their house and use the plastic cup. That's on you. But as an elder or nation builder or warrior of the Tawi family village, when we go over those kind of things, you'll be able to understand what choices that you have to make. Now, those who have said, okay, it's rigid, we must do it this way, that's different. But it's always a choice. Brother Lumina is always in a situation where he's asked to do libation, and they always have all kinds of things. Sometimes they have plants, sometimes they don't have plants. Sometimes they all kinds of things. So he has to make the decision how he wants to do it. One of the other things Brother Lumelon does is when he asking you to, before he pours libation, he asks you to do what? Stand. He asks you to stand. So from his point of view, if you're not standing, and he also does something else at certain places. He takes off his
Hat?
shoes.
Oh.
Because he knows that the space that he's going to enter, he has already named it as sacred space. And so in that sacred space, he will honor that by doing that with his shoes. So you may see him running around with no shoes on because that's what he had done. So your question is definitely a good one because it tells you the different thing. Now, is there one way? No, not right now. As you can see, that we're doing it different ways. So we were going to go and light the Masu Masaba, they like leaning like they on the lean. Look at them. They look like they're all leaning like they on the lean. Like they done called up what's a Google and Google. I got it. Here, I'm gonna put a thing here. They called up Google and asked why they leaning. I call up Google all the time and ask her where her shoes is, and she tells me. Sometimes she gives me a list of shoe companies. And then sometimes she know it's me, and she said, I don't have to tell you where my shoes are. I mean, she does it all the time. Okay, here we go. That's it. What was that? That's creativity.
Yeah, one on that end leaning in green. Yeah, right, wait, you might yeah, lean a little bit. There we go. Good thing.
I'm gonna, now I'm gonna ask, okay, good. All right, okay, all right, okay. Now, Mama Lona, now, of course, you know, we're gonna add one other thing to the table here, and thanks for y'all patience, is artifact. Now, this is a drummer. Notice that there's no dancer up here. So I'm asking y'all somewhere along the line to trip in something and get us a dancer. Because this drummer can't be here by himself. That's just not right. That's okay. All right. I have to get some water. Marlon's ready already. So we do the, okay. Notice we put down the red, black, and green because this family takes a look at Marcus Garvey and all that Marcus Garvey did. And while we know he was doing an effective job because he was definitely supported. And we also have a Marcus Garvey festival. I mean, a place like that. And so therefore, for the family, you see we have the red, black, and green flag here. And that when we do other things, we'll also have the black, red, and green flag, and we'll also have the green, red, and green flag. Oh, okay. Where's Clifford's doing something? Yeah, that's me. I'm gonna light just the black candle, which means what?
Unity.
Okay. Okay, can we come over with it? Well, I like this. Wait a minute. How do I say that? I'm supposed to remember.
Wait. Oh, gee, Nina Ta Umoja.
Nina Ta Umoja. I like this candle in the name of Umoja.
Unity.
In this family. Yeah, no, this one's broken at the top. We don't have this at the candle. So I did the best I could. Put it in. Yeah, that's right. So in this family, the black candle is looked at as all the other principles come out of the unity, because without the unity, nothing else is possible. Because that's the way we look at it. And now we want to